And you know what? I think I am better off this way. Alright, today I wanted to talk about choice and consequence. So, when we all turn 18, society has collectively agreed that's the age where you can make your own choices for yourself, but you have to accept that there are consequences for your choices. That's what I want to talk about today. Making choices and accepting the consequences of those choices or struggling to accept them in some cases. Me personally, I have come to terms with the truth that choices have consequences. Let me say that again. Choices have consequences. You're free to make your choices, but you have to accept what comes with them. So, for example, in society, people have their rights, but they also have responsibility. It's actually why they lowered the voting age to 18 around the time of Vietnam, because young men were being burdened with the responsibility of going off to fight in Vietnam, but they were never given the right to vote that comes with that responsibility. I'm not going to get into the whole thing about all of that, but suffice it to say, when you make choices, you have to accept consequences. Just like if you accept your rights, you also have to accept the responsibilities that come with them. So, choices that I've made include refusing to be around drinking, refusing to allow alcohol anywhere near my presence, refusing to drink personally. All of those are choices I have made. All of them I have a right to make a choice to, but I also have to accept the consequences that came with it. Like in past videos, I've talked about how I never had a big high school or college graduation party because I had incredibly strict rules for parties that had my name on them. Specifically, no alcohol anywhere near them. My mom said that that probably wouldn't be able to happen because if she rented out one of those VFW halls, then there would be this whole thing where we couldn't bar the ability for them to sell alcohol. I'm like, first of all, I'm pretty sure she was lying to me so that she wouldn't have to deal with people who were gonna complain if there was no alcohol at it. Then, or she just didn't want to deal with having to figure out how to get the hall to not sell it. But you know what? I don't care about that at this point. It's been 6 and 10 years, respectively, for college and high school. But you know what? I accept the consequence that I was not able to have a big graduation party for either of them because I stand by my choice that I would not have alcohol at an event held in my name. That is something I have come to live with and actually very strongly prefer across the board, to the point that if any reason for a party for me comes up, I am going to simply deny the ability to have a party if it cannot be devoid of alcohol, as all parties should. But when it comes to my thing, if I have a choice between an alcohol free party and substances in general, or no party, I'm going to choose no party every single time. And I accept the consequence that my life might be a little more boring, or that I am never going to have any sort of group celebration for anything of mine. And I also accept that it's going to complicate surprise parties anyone tries planning for me. If any of my friends here are watching this, don't plan surprise parties for me, please. I have standards for what my name is associated with. I am so glad that nobody's ever thrown a surprise party for me, and they never, hopefully, they never will. If they don't know me that well, I'll forgive them, though if it has alcohol there, I will disavow the party and walk away. That's it. I'm not going to waste time trying to throw out whatever alcohol is there. I'm just going to choose to tell everyone that I'm disappointed in them and that this is not endorsed by me in any way, shape, or form. I accept the consequences of that. Same thing with all of that in regards to dating. I've been playing around with Hinge, Bumble, and Lucid recently, out of curiosity. And I guess to try to see if the dating market is really that screwed or not. Like with the speed dating events that I told you about, I have been considering going to one of those just to see if it's true that men really are outnumbering women at these things. At least in Boston. Maybe other parts of the country are different, but I kind of want to see if it's true for that in Boston. Of course, I might have to look beyond just skip the small talk, but that's a discussion for another day. Anyway, I accept that the consequence of being a 28-year-old virgin because I refuse to be around drinking and I refuse to date a woman who drinks or does any substances. Like on the reason I went for Lucid is because I got tired of having to look for indications of drinks, smokes, does 420, or other recreational substances. Let's just say I swipe left or hit X way more than I swipe right. To the point that I've actually run out of women to swipe on in the apps. At least for Bumble and what was it? Lucid. Now, Lucid, that one's probably more because it's a more niche dating app with a more specific target audience, and then I didn't have to think twice about substances. Whereas with Bumble and Hinge, okay, I haven't run out of potential matches on Hinge just yet. But on Bumble this morning or earlier today, I got to the end of the line, at least for the distance and age ranges. Now, I could just pay for the memberships that allow me to actually filter out for sober or no on the drinking question, and then hard no for smoking, and then never for April 20th. Or in the case of Hinge, add on other recreational drugs, a hard no. Let's say I did pay for those memberships, I would have to accept the consequence that I would run out of potential matches a lot sooner. Okay, sure, I wouldn't have to sift through as many. Or I'd only have to worry about looking for things in the pictures that raise red flags. I think I've gone on enough about that, but getting back to the idea of choices and consequences, I have made the choice to never even consider dating a woman who drinks, smokes, or does drugs, April 20th or otherwise. And I accept the consequence that I am a 28-year-old virgin because as soon as I know anything about willful substance use like that, all I can think is bye or unmatched or no date for you. And you know what? I think I am better off this way. I am free to I am free to work on other things, enjoy my hobbies, and I accept that if I am way too selective on this particular front, I am willing to accept the consequence 50 years from now that I could end up being completely alone. You know what? I accept that as a possible consequence because I do not want to be around. I don't want drinking, smoking, or drugs around me. With friends, it's one thing. It's friends as long as they don't do it around me. Or like I said in the other videos, if they invite me to something and it's not in my name and they happen to drink, I accept that there's nothing I can do there. At that point, the burden is on me to either accept that it's going to happen there or leave if I feel that strongly about it. Generally, when it's their things, it's their rules, I am not going to try enforcing my rules on that. I mean, I would definitely recommend they not drink, but I can't force that. And the way I see it, my friends are respectful enough to not try to pressure me to drink, for which I am grateful. That being said, going forward, I do have a preference for new people in my life to be on the same page as me with alcohol. I mean, they don't have to take it to the extremes that I have, like prohibiting parties or events in their name from having alcohol. But like I said, I accept that it's a consequence of my choices. Because, as I said, choices have consequences. Now, we can also get into making the right choices or how the wrong choices can affect us. Yeah, I think I'll quickly go over that. So, let's just say I chose not to worry about that. Honestly, I would probably have ended up getting peer pressured, and no, I can't really think of the alternate timeline all that much because I would probably be I don't want to think that I would ever give in to the temptation to drink alcohol. I like to think that the one consistency of me in every variant of me in the multiverse is that none of us drink or smoke or do drugs. Again, I made my choice and I accept the consequences, which is the point of this video, that choices have consequences, that you can make your choices, but you have to accept the consequences. So you know what? I'm going to leave it here for the video and defer to you on all this. You let me know in the comments down below choices you've made and the consequences of them that you have accepted, or if there are any choices you wish you'd made differently because making the choice that you ultimately did had consequences you didn't like. Doesn't have to be super personal or anything like that, but if you want to share anything like that, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Anyway, give this video a like, subscribe for daily videos, and I'll see you soon.